All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Pastrami Nation podcast. I'm Kevin, and joining me today, co-founder of Pastrami Nation himself, Mr. Jason. Sorry, Jason. Sorry, you're not Jason. You're Nolan. You know how many times I've done a podcast with you, Nolan, compared to Jason? I've done plenty of podcasts with Jason. It just rolls off the tongue. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Right. He's become the regular Smith.
He has become the regular Smith on the podcast, but today we have a very special Smith, Nolan Smith. What's going on, man? How's it going?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Obviously, as you all watching, have a new digs for the week, staying in a hotel, doing some work stuff. But we still had to come on and we had to talk about the Pitt. Season 2's finale was last week, and it was great. So just before we do jump into it, I just want to make everyone aware we will be diving into spoilers and stuff. So if you have not finished watching the Pitt, highly recommend that you do. Then come back and listen to it. We're going to deep dive into what we thought about the finale, what we thought about some of the character arcs and things like that. But first, let's talk about the Pitt a little bit. For those of you who don't know, the Pitt is a medical drama on HBO Max. Stars Noah Wyle and a whole cast of characters. The cast for the show is absolutely wonderful. Created by John Wells, who also co-created ER back in the day. Now, I guess if you go back to the creation of the show and everything like that, originally it was supposed to be a sequel to ER, but there were some rights issues with the Crichton estate and stuff like that. So they kind of went off on their own and kind of created their own show with Noah Wyle at the center. Noah Wyle, who was also in ER. So Nolan, let's talk about your history with the Pitt, because I kind of have a more condensed history of the Pitt than you, but let's talk about it. Were you watching along with season 1 when it was airing? What was your kind of experience? What has your Pitt experience been like?
Well,
so
actually,
far, 2 seasons.
I didn't get into it until after season 1 ended, and even then, I was like, looking for something to watch, and I kept seeing the Pitt pop up on the HBO Max screen, so I was like, okay. Let's give it a shot. Never watched ER. Not the biggest fan of medical, dramas or anything like that. I've been to enough hospital. Yeah. I've been to enough hospital rooms in my time,
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like something I'd ever want to watch, but I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. So me and my wife gave it a shot, watched episode 1 and was absolutely hooked. Season 1 was just like a nonstop thrill ride. It was so wonderfully written. The characters were fantastic. There's the ones you love and there's the ones you're meant to hate. And they did such a great job on it. So binged it massively and then waited impatiently for season 2. And I posted up about it quite a few times on my social media, and I got crickets for most of the time because I don't think a lot of people were into it, but maybe for the same reasons I wasn't. Medical show, like, is this really going to draw me in? But it's the storytelling that does it. I haven't seen a series that takes this micro storytelling approach hour by hour. It was an absolute joy. And that's how I got into the Pitt. I won't jump into season 2 yet, but that's what got me into it. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, so no, same. I've been off and on with it over the past couple years since it's been airing. Like when it first came out, it was a lot of interest to me because I'm a big fan of ER. ER to me changed the way I saw. Like there's 2 shows during the 90s that I absolutely loved. ER was one of them, and there's this other show called Homicide: Life on the Streets, which were these 2 kind of, Homicide was about these detectives in New York. ER was the opposite end, these hospital workers working at an ER. Young George Clooney, Noah Wyle, Anthony Edwards. You got all these people working on that show. And it was just so fast paced and so good. And I feel like those 2 shows really fed my kind of hunger when it came to stuff like when it came to drama and horror, along with the X-Files, because they would show things that you wouldn't normally see on network TV. All 3 of those shows, X-Files, ER, and Homicide: Life on the Streets. ER also, drew in a bunch of young auteur directors. Like Quentin Tarantino directed an episode of ER back in the day. So it was just a really, really great show, fantastic show, great acting, great, just a wonderful cast. Now, fast forward to when the Pitt, I first heard about it. Noah Wiley, John Wells is coming back. It's from the creator of ER. It got me super, super interested. Between ER and this, I've never really watched a whole lot of hospital shows, medical shows. They just didn't really appeal to me, much like you. I think some of them are great, but like you have things like Grey's Anatomy that's been on for 20 years or whatever. But that's more like soapy, it's more,
it's
kind of like
romance.
It's the romance and stuff like that. I wanted something that was pure and something that really dug into it. House was interesting. I thought House did a really interesting job.
I enjoyed House.
But I didn't watch that regularly, but when I did watch it, I liked it. But it was all these doctors solving these medical mysteries and stuff like that. One thing I love about the Pitt when I first started watching it, specifically the first couple episodes, was that first of all, like you said, the hour by hour storytelling. I used to also watch 24 back in the day, Kiefer Sutherland, same idea, except 24 was a little bit more inflated. It was about the terrorist stuff and everything like that. This felt more grounded, a little bit more realistic. And this one, they're not trying to solve medical mysteries, right? Like they're just in there trying to figure out like they have to think on their feet and in the moment. And that's one thing I love about the show is that it's just so fast paced that the characters don't really have much time to really think about what they're doing. They're just like, okay, this needs to be done. Let's do it. And that really compelled me and that really got me interested. Now, my wife, Cassie, on the other hand, she's not a big fan of the show's gory, right? Like they go deep. Medical procedures. At first, I was like, oh, like this is a little much. Like even for me, sometimes, right? I love horror, but like to me, I'm not a big fan of people slicing into each other. But after the first like 3 or 4 episodes, I just kind of got used to it and just became fascinated with these medical procedures and stuff. My wife, on the other hand, was not. It took her. So the first season, she caught up. She'd watch it occasionally. Well, she's playing her Switch or whatever. But it was the mass casualty event in the first one that caught her attention because I was watching the episode before, and then she gets off the phone and she's like, "There's been a shooting at Pitt Fist," and suddenly, like her and my daughter both are like, "Wait, what's happening?" And from there, it just became like they had to watch those episodes, and then my wife, she's like, like I have to watch season 2 with you now. I was like, yes, I do know. So we binged it up until the finale, and we caught up right before the finale aired. A couple days before the finale, we got caught up. And yeah, so that's kind of been my experience with the Pitt. So it's been, I guess, I want to say maybe a little bit under a year that I've kind of binged both seasons of it. But the characters, like you said, the wonderful characters, you have these great character moments. And there's not a lot of time for, like I said, there's not a lot of time for that kind of drama to build. It builds through the character moments, which is fantastic. So we're not really here to talk about season 1 as much. Let's talk about season 2. It's a brand new day. Season 2 takes place on the 4th of July. Starts at the beginning of 4th of July. Baby Jane Doe. Hey, my wife, Cassie. How's it going? Everyone loves Baby Jane Doe. She kind of came into the hospital. It takes place in Pittsburgh in the Pitt. They get a hold of someone drops off a baby in the bathroom, and Baby Jane Doe's story goes through the entire season. Charge nurse Dana is kind of in charge of her, and honestly, she's in charge of the Pitt. Like these charge nurses are no joke. I was actually listening to a Pitt podcast that they air after every episode, and had a medical professional on, and he's talking about how the charge nurses, you don't mess with the charge nurses. Like they are the ones that are just like you see in the show. Like Dana, she's in charge of everything. Like she's in charge of the rooms, figuring everything out, things like that. And the show just really, really does a good job with these kind of like telling you who everyone is without actually spending a lot of time with them, because it has to move really, really fast. So you get to know these characters through these little character moments that they're talking to each other and stuff like that. This season, Langdon is back. Langdon, he had a big issue last season. One thing I do really love about the show is it only takes place over a shift, right? So there's not a lot you can conclude. Like there's some loose ends that are still kind of out and about. And that's what happened with the first season. And the second season, you kind of get filled in with a lot of stuff. But, in a day shift, just like life, like one thing I love about the show is that they kept it real to life. Like there's not always going to be the solution in one day, especially, which I think is one of the great things about the show. But things still feel full circle and things still feel like they're completed. And like you don't really need a whole lot more than what they give you, which I think is wonderful. So overall, real quick, what were your thoughts compared to season 1? How do you feel about season 2?
Overall, I feel like season 2 outdid season 1. I felt like there were some slow episodes, of course, but also that's real life. Like not every hour at the ER is going to be full of, emergency surgeries and whatnot. I think the emotional connections that you take with the characters and the reality that you're not always going to save them, and we saw that from season 1 to season 2, and it's heartbreaking, but for me, season 2 really stepped up, especially connecting to the emotional side of everybody, and not with just one character. Like they lead you through all these different characters and all their journeys, from Mel, who very much like I know the situation, disabled siblings and whatnot, and I can project myself in there and say like, man, like I know what she's feeling. Like you feel like that's your life. Your life has just changed now that your disabled sister has a boyfriend. And to, of course, Dr. Robbie, and I think everybody connected with Dr. Robbie at some point in time. But it was just, it was such a good view of humanity, we started season 1, episode 1 with Abbott ready to end it. So I felt like it was very fitting for the last episode of season 2 to go the way that went, with Abbott stepping up and telling Robbie, like, you can't throw it all away. There's more to life. Don't Thelma and Louise me.
I love that. Dr. Abbott's such a badass. Like, first of all of these doctors are just doctors in general. Like I've always obviously respected doctors and love doctors and have a deep appreciation for doctors and what they do. But this show really, really, really helped me like gain a new appreciation for what doctors do, and amplified what I already felt about them times 100 by seeing these characters and what they're going through and stuff like that. It's not easy. And then, you have stuff, they throw in a bunch of real world issues, right? Like, distrust in the medical institutions and things like that, in medicine and doctors and things like that, which I think, especially from season 1, when they're talking about Dr. Google and stuff like that, we're all stuck to our phones doing these things. But I did want to talk about Dr. Robbie's kind of role throughout both seasons, because he's obviously, in the first season, we know that he has a lot of PTSD from COVID. He was a COVID doctor. He saw a lot. And after when the mass casualty event happens, he has to relive a lot of that stuff. And I think what this season does well is it doesn't have a big event like the mass casualty event per se. Like it has the water slide stuff and everything like that, which was freaking brutal. But it doesn't have anything like as impactful as the mass casualty event. But what it makes up for that is the character moments, is those little moments with the characters. And that's what this is the emotional core of the show. This season is the first season. We got the action, so to speak. We got the big intense moments. We got that stuff. And this one was just a little bit more mellow. We introduced a new character, Dr. El Hashimi, which, at first she was doing things. I was like a little bit unnerved by her, and everyone else was too. Dr. Robbie and her did not get along at all. She just had the different methods, different techniques. But as the season went on, my God, like I absolutely adore her. When you find out what's going on with her and her story and why she is like she is, just absolutely wonderful arc for her, and it worked. Dr. Robbie better be on the 3-month paternity leave. I hope so. What did you? Okay, so what do you think about that? We have baby Jane Doe. I think obviously gives Dr. Robbie kind of a new reason to live, and as we were kind of talking about Dr. Robbie, but it's focuses a lot on mental health and his mental health specifically. And at the end, you see him holding baby John Doe, and it's this absolutely devastating yet beautiful yet hopeful moment that things are going to be okay. We don't know if Dr. Robbie's going to go on his 3-month sabbatical or he's going to go on a 3-month paternity leave. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think baby Jane Doe is going to find a new home with Dr. Robbie? Because they did mention earlier in the show that they can legally adopt the child. Doctors can. What are your thoughts about that?
I think just like everybody, like you want Dr. Robbie to do it. You want him to, adopt and raise this little life. And, but even if that doesn't happen, I think that moment saved his life. That how he brought up, like, I was abandoned, just like the baby. And, I think that was such a wake up call for him. So whether he adopts the baby or not, that baby saved his life. Because I think we all know when he was going to leave, that was it. Work was it for him. That was his life. And it's a stressful life, but to not have, a wife and kids or anything to go home to after, to just the constant want. I wanted a family. I wanted a pond that could be a skating rink when it freezes over. And it wasn't there. So I'm really, really happy that moment happened. I hope he ends up adopting. But even if he didn't, like, I'm about 99% sure it saved his life.
100%. Yeah. So no matter, like, I agree with you. No matter what happens with baby Jane Doe, I think it was a life-changing moment for Dr. Robbie. And the fact that everyone was there for him, like everybody, like I think that's what it took for him to see how much people gave a shit about him. And that's why it's important to check on your friends and let them know you're there for them, because that can literally change the trajectory of somebody's life. Another thing I really, really love about the Pitt is it's kind of an experiment in compassion and understanding. I think one thing that really, really struck me as watching it, there's specifically in season 2, there's a scene with the prisoner, right? He comes in, he's in jail, or he comes in handcuffs, and they're like, you need to uncuff him. We need to do our thing. And the prison guards are like, no. But to me, that showed, like, they don't know what that guy did. Like, they don't know who he is. They don't know what his background is. They don't know why he's in jail. Their job is to help him. Right. Their job is to save him. Now, a lot of these people, we don't know anything about their history, about their past. We do learn some unsavory things about some of the people. They kind of get their own. But one thing the show really shows is that those doctors, they don't care about where you're from, what you're doing, whatever. They're there to save you, no matter what. There could be like whatever the case may be. And I think that's a wonderful lesson we can all kind of learn, is like, be a little bit more compassionate towards your fellow human, because you don't know what they're going through, right? Like, again, it just takes a little bit of compassion and love to really kind of save someone. And whether or not you don't know the history of them, and it could blow up in your face, but at the same time, you gave it your all. And that's the thing about the show. And, they were even, when you had the unhoused gentleman come in, and he had the cast on and everything. Their concern wasn't about if he had health insurance or why he was, unhoused in the first place, or why he was on the streets. They just wanted to get him better. Like all this other stuff just doesn't matter. And I think that's a really, really good message, especially, and that's what doctors do. Like, that's what good doctors do. Like, they don't care. They're just there to save you. They want to make sure you're comfortable and that your life is good. And the whole thing, the prisoner, you have the whole thing with he wasn't eating well enough and the skirt, all these things. And they made it a point to make sure that he can get the food that he needs and stuff. And again, no one in the house, they never mentioned what he did, why he was in prison. And he did something pretty bad to end up in prison, right? Like, I mean, it's not just, but we don't care about that. And I think that's one of the cool things about the show. Again, some of the characters, you find out some very unsavory things, and they take care of that, and they do that. And I thought that's really cool. I also love how the show really tackles a lot of social issues that are going on right now. Like, you have season one, the mass casualty event with the mass shooting at the show. And you also have in this one, you have the ICE stuff, which the season ends and Jesse's still in ICE custody, which is like freaking wild
for doing his job.
Yeah, for doing his job. Like, and they don't really, they bring it up, but like they're like it's that kind of show where you're like, I don't know what happened to him. Like, I want to know where he's at. Hopefully he's okay. You know what I mean? What did you think about all that stuff?
Yeah, no, I think it's obviously really timely, that they bring all this up. And I felt like they brought it up very tastefully too.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a very scary world, and sometimes we don't want that to leak into our entertainment, but I felt like it was done extremely well. And I wanted to bring up too, like you mentioned about the unhoused gentleman, Digby. I thought he was just an absolute delight.
Oh my goodness.
Once you have him in there and you're like, like you said, we don't know who these people are or what they've done, but you can treat them the same as you would anybody else. And that, like you said, it's a lesson for life. He was a spectacular guy, except for stealing Whitaker's badge.
I thought that was kind of funny, not gonna lie.
But I hadn't seen that actor in so long. Breaking Bad was the last time I saw him. So I was trying to place him. I was like, I've seen him somewhere. And so I finally looked it up. I was like, oh, he's Skinny Pete. So it was really cool to see that, and to see that, like, just because he's unhoused, just because he has all this going on, does not mean he's a threat to them.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy.
He just needed help, just like we all do. And I think that was the big underlying thing right there. Like, they're all there for help. The a-hole guy, remember, that didn't want it, like wanted to get up, kept going on his and everything. Like, but they still treated everybody the same.
Yeah.
And I loved that, and part of me really hopes that that's how it is across the US and the world when it comes to ERs, that everybody has that point of view, that I don't care where you came from, I don't care what's going on, let's just fix you up and get you.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I think they did a good job, especially in season one, also with Dr. McKay, right? And the whole ankle bracelet and stuff like that. Like, you don't really know what she did. Like, there's obviously the allusion to, like, she did with her ex's girlfriend, whatever. Like, there's some stuff. But again, like, this is a show that's all about kind of forgiveness and forgetting about the past and moving on and living life and on better terms, on the terms that make you happy. And that's kind of Dr. Robbie's entire arc throughout the 2 seasons, from the COVID stuff in the first one to this, is just really, really all about that. I really want to know if Dr. McKay met up with that dude, like, after she was supposed to go meet at the art museum. Right. Well, I don't think they did, because they're late because of I think the big thing that happened this one was all their the hacking thing. So all the medical stuff went down. So that was like a crazy 2 episodes, or 3, I think, episodes where they were just working with like paper and pen and fax machine, and like, that's freaking wild. Like, that was insane. That was crazy. And the show's like dramatic and fast paced, but they also find a lot of time for levity. Like, there is time for, you have the gallows humor, right? Like, I think, which, I mean, I learned when I worked in the funeral industry for a year, I learned you have to laugh and you have to smile about things, or else, not untasteful, but like, you have to be, if you don't make yourself laugh, you're going to, especially in a world like this, in a hospital where you're dealing with life-threatening stuff, you have to find that levity somewhere. And the show does that really well. Like, I thought all the stuff with Dr. J and the TikTok stuff was fantastic. The girl with the eyebrow, the girl, like, I thought Cassie pointed this out to me, but there's the girl, the sunburn girl, just randomly throughout the whole like season, she's just like walking around the hospital from like room to room, and it's just like
chill in there, and things are happening, and she's just there in her bathing suit, just completely blistered like a lobster.
You're just like, oh, there she is. It's kind of like a Where's Waldo. Like, there's so much stuff happening in the background that this show does wonderfully. And I think it just really, you got to have that occasional like laughing moment where it's just kind of silly and fun. But even those moments they take very seriously. You had mentioned Dr. King and her story with her sister and stuff. Like, there was some levity and humor in that moment, that stuff too. But then, of course, Dr. King was going through the whole malpractice suit. which was, I felt so bad for her. I felt like I got dad mode come on, and I was like, don't do that to her. Like I was just like, no, that's not cool. Like she just had this like real childlike quality to her, because she, and to me in my eyes, and I've said this a million times, but like I'm 40, I'm gonna be 46, but like anyone under 30 to me is like a child, right? So it's like I see that, I'm like, no, like I just want to give them a big hug and say it's gonna be okay.
Right.
Just get this taken care of. That's how it was with her. She has those eyes that just kind of look at you like, I was like, oh my God, like this is killing me right now.
Right. And she looks so sweet. And you're like,
such a sweetheart.
Don't feed her to the wolves. Like,
I know.
But so I got to ask you,
Yeah.
who do you think, who are the rock stars out of this season? Who was like just rocking it the whole season? Who would you pick?
Honestly, I do think, who really, really rocked it? The Santos. I think Santos is great. I think I'm going to go with El Hashimi. I think El Hashimi, after knowing what she was dealing with and doing what she did, she went through that day like a champ. Like she stood up to Dr. Robbie. She was like, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be my ER right now. We need to change some things. Gosh, that's a tough one because I like them all.
Right.
But I think the MVP for me, oh God, Dr. Abbott, again, complete badass. He comes in his freaking like tactical gear and shit. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Yep, he's one of the two I would pick, like
Dr. Abbott. I'm gonna say Al Hashimi and I'm gonna say Dr. Robbie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Dr. Robbie and Al Hashimi. I think those two really, for me, really. Oh gosh, there you go. What are yours? What are yours? I think those are going to be mine though.
For me, I mean Dr. Abbott, because here's a guy that, like,
oh my gosh,
works at military doctor and everything, and then still comes in and does his night shift, and then he just runs that night shift. Like,
and then
it's
also
a totally different feel.
Just real quick, yeah, it's a totally different feel, but like. Cassie missed the part briefly towards the end of season 1 where they show his leg was like blown off.
Right.
Like, they never bring that up. Yeah.
He took it off and he was drinking a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's the only time you see it.
He is absolutely just a badass. He's one of my absolute favorites. And then the other one, based off of this season alone, is Whitaker.
Whitaker, yes.
Whitaker excelled at every level after being the butt of every joke pretty much in the first one. He was the guy that kept messing up his scrubs and everything, and then he comes in and he rocks it.
Yeah.
He's the constant professional. He's on everybody. I think he rocked it like Huckleberry delivered. He was great.
I love that. I love Huckleberry. Dr. J was a real rock star too. She really was. Like, she was doing the TikTok thing. Like, she was saving people through her TikToks. Like,
and I love that she discovered that, like, maybe that's my path. Like, that's still help. That's helping.
Oh my gosh.
It was so cool because she's a great character. But I love being able to see that light bulb. Like, when she was like, "You're a genius." Like,
yeah.
Like, it was
I was so
cool.
happy for her at that moment. Like, I was like, yeah, like, go do that. Go mental health. Like, yeah, that was freaking incredible. I thought she was great too. I like the Ogilvy.
Oh man,
Ogilvy. He was kind of a little prick. But the other, what's her name? Dang it, I forgot. Dang it. I forgot her name, but she was fantastic too. The two new doctors. Yeah, Huckleberry lost his
new names too. But yeah, Ogilvy. I mean, you knew that fall was going to happen when he was like, he's so cocky. He's so full of it. He just wants to show he knows. And then, man, life just went crazy on him. I felt bad for him, when Whitaker went over there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But he kept it together. I mean, he did the best he could, I liked Emma. I thought Emma was great. The new nurse, I thought she was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Who I'm trying to remember the name of the other nurse or the other med student. I can't.
Like the one that was with the charge nurse.
No, the one with the glasses. She was with Ogilvy. Like her and Ogilvy were
the photographic memory.
Yes. Oh, the one who she was a badass too. Like she
didn't start off that way, and then you're like, whoa! Like,
she was a complete badass.
Well,
like,
she did something very big when she said, like, no, this is my shift.
Yeah.
Like, I have to have that space, and maybe you should too. How many of us do that? Like we take
Yeah.
work home with us or we stay later, and for what? So I really respected that she did that. I know some people were like, oh, well, she should have stayed. When does it stop then?
No. Yeah. No. I also thought Dr. Mohan did great too. She had a lot of stuff she was dealing with her mom and stuff like that. That scene when she thinks she might be having a heart attack, but it's like an anxiety attack, and Dr. Robbie jumps down her throat. I'm like, dude, like you need to chill a little bit. Like I understand it's a hospital, like it's a fast pace, but man, y'all, she's trying to figure things out.
Up there for me because he's still like one of my favorite characters, but he wasn't
Yeah.
in my top 2
No.
because you're there to support that staff. That's your staff.
Yeah, no, now you got me second guessing. I just like Dr. Robbie because of his journey and like kind of knowing what he was dealing with throughout the day. This kind of hidden, this mental health issue that not a lot of people can see, and the fact that he was still able to function and do his job and save people. And yeah, he might have been a bit irritated at times and things like that. But to me, like, we've all been there where like, we just don't want to function, don't want to do anything, but we have to put on that face and go out there and do it. And to me, like working in an ER like this just has got to be the worst place to do that, just because
I could not imagine it. No way.
It's so fast paced. So that I think that's why he's up there for me. But yeah, no, I think overall season 2, just as I think it is, I think I do like it better than season 1. I think that and there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know. My God, dude. So there was a scene in season 2 where they were Dr. Kwan, yes, that was her name. Thank you. She was fantastic. With the erectile stuff, which was really, really hard to watch. But it Cassie turned to me, she's like, I'm so sorry you have to watch this. But like at season 1, you watch like a woman give birth, right? And I'm like, listen, guys have to deal with stuff too, but like nothing compared to what I've watched women give birth. I can watch this, right? It's painful to watch, but it's still, it kind of made sense to me. But the C-section at the end, the very last episode, that was both to me like fascinating, but also very, very, they went to, I had no idea how that worked. I had never seen a season. Obviously, they use fake, it's all like, prosthetics and dummies and things like that. But my gosh, when they go in there like that was a finale moment right there. Like it
was hard to watch. I mean, women go through so much, even with, a regular pregnancy, and then for that emergency C-section. I mean, part of it, of course, is like it's the movie magic, and you're like, wow, like, so much goes into that. Like, how cool. And then part of it's like, but this is recreated to be as realistic as possible. That it's so hard to watch. Like, I mean, I watched my son get born with a regular birth.
Oh yeah, I
can't imagine seeing a C-section.
No, like that was wild. And that's one thing I love about the show too, is it really opened my eyes to how a lot of these procedures are done. I think the one of the big ones that really, really got me was the sexual assault victim. I had no idea like what they had to do once they got there. And I thought that was all like, just it's so devastating that anyone would have to go through that. And the processes they have to go through.
Having that happen. And then you have to go through that whole excruciating, horrible, exam.
Exactly. And it's like, Dana, like, Nurse Dana, she was wonderful throughout the whole thing. And like the best you can ask for is to have nurses and doctors like that who actually care and who, have, again, obviously it's a situation that no one should ever have to be in. So to make that clear. Absolutely. But, so that was devastating, heartbreaking, but also very eye-opening as to how they do a lot of these things, a lot of these procedures. And listening to the podcast, I learned a lot, like how a lot of the times the actors, they'll get the scripts and they don't really know the procedures till like maybe 2-3 hours before they shoot it. So they actually have actual ER doctors on set at all times. They're actually teaching them like an hour before they shoot. They go into this room and they do the procedure real quick, rehearse it, and then they go out there and they do it.
What's his name? Jesse, the one that got arrested by ICE. Like, he's an actual ER nurse.
That's wild to me.
Yeah, and I mean, he's also in a rock band. Like, dude just does everything. But I got so much more respect for him knowing that, because he lives it. He's living
Dr. Mohan, she was actually going to medical. She took her MCATs to be a nurse. She passed. She was actually a tutor for the MCAT, which is really, really hard to do. But while she was auditioning for things, she was becoming a nurse. And then obviously the Pitt came along and she's like, oh, I could be a nurse, a fake nurse. But
cool is that, though?
That's so cool. Like, yeah, I love the way that works out. So, yeah, man, I think the Pitt is a show that is unlike any other kind of medical drama out there. I think if you're going to sit there and say you don't like medical dramas, that's fine, but you should watch the Pitt. Like, it's about the characters.
It really is. Yeah, that was me. Like, if you're like, it's going to be boring, it's a medical drama, just watch the first episode of season 1 and it'll hook you. There's no way it can't, especially if you love good storytelling, because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So you owe it to yourself. It's on HBO Max, and go watch it. There's no reason not to. Everything's kind of coming to an end anyway with different seasons, so now's the time, right?
Yeah. And listen, this isn't my idea, but I'm going to say it. They just need to bring back 24 episodes. And what you need to do is do 12-hour day shift, 12-hour night shift. Cut the season half, day shift, night shift.
I would love that.
My gosh. Like, we need a night shift spinoff. Yes. We need something, because Dr. Abbott and his crew.
And very different chemistry. But
very different chemistries.
Almost like a sports team. The night shift, like they're all on the same page. All of them are going,
Yeah, they're also badass too.
The other one, like, they're there to support at every turn. And you're like, wow.
Yeah. One person I did miss this season was Dr. Collins.
Oh yeah, right.
She moved to Portland in the show. So yeah, she moved up to Portland and started a new life and everything. She's working up there. So
she was fantastic in season 1.
Oh my gosh, she was amazing in season 1. Yeah, I did miss her. But hopefully, we might see her again. Who knows, down the road. I thought Dr. Parker, she's the main night doctor as well as Dr. Abbott. She's fantastic. There's so many of these doctors we didn't really get a lot of time with that I'd love to spend more time with. Yeah, go watch the Pitt. This show has won numerous awards for very good reason. Noah Wiley has won a bunch of stuff. The show itself has won Best Drama numerous times.
Abbott won, Dr. Abbott won.
John Hadastoy. I need to learn how to say names. I'm doing a whole podcast. I'm doing a whole podcast on the Pitt, and I don't even know his name. Hadosy. Sean Hadassey.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic in this. He's also in Ready or Not 2, which is out in theaters right now. It's not really a plug for that, but he's in Ready or Not 2. He plays his Sarah Michelle Gellar's brother. He's also in The Faculty, one of my favorite Robert Rodriguez movies. So obviously back when he was a teenager. So but anyways, that's beside the point. He's fantastic in this too. So go watch the show. 2 seasons airing on HBO Max. You won't regret it. It's funny. I watched a lot of it on a plane on my phone because I needed something to watch and I needed to catch up. And I was like, I'm just going to watch some Pitt. And probably a lot of it probably wasn't appropriate for plane viewing, but that's okay. It's all right. It was totally fine. I was in the middle seat, so and my wife on this side and some random here.
My wife almost did that too when she went to Alaska last year. She had downloaded the first season of The Pitt, and she was going to watch it, and then Oh, when she came back, I was like, "Did you watch it?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Well, let's just watch it." And then just the other day, she's like, "I'm so glad I didn't watch it on the plane."
Right? No, yeah. So I took the shot, and it turned out fine.
And some
Turned out
rando
fine.
probably got introduced to it. He or she probably went to go watch it too.
Exactly. Who knows? Who knows? Absolutely. So, anyways, let us know what you guys thought about the Pit. Did you guys watch the Pit? You excited to watch the Pit? Hopefully, we made you guys excited to watch the Pit. If you haven't yet, go watch it. Highly, highly, highly recommend.
It's a pity if you have not.
It's a pity. Exactly. I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, let us know what you guys think about the Pit, and that's our show for tonight. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for checking it out. Really, really appreciate it. It's fun doing these. We haven't done one of these in a while. So hopefully down the road we'll do some more of these as the cool things come out. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Should check out Pastrami Nation on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun things. Where Pinterest, right?
Pinterest, YouTube, yeah,
Pinterest, YouTube. We got some really, really cool stuff coming up on those guys, and some cool stuff on it. Nolan, where else can they find you online?
Yeah, really, just look for Pastrami Nation. That's the way to find me.
Yeah.
I would plug other stuff, but it has nothing to do with pop culture, so I'm not going to do it. But you can find that. Go over to Pastrami Nation, and if you message Pastrami Nation, it goes to me or Kevin or Jason. So you're getting one of us. So go for it.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can, Pastrami Nation's the best place to find all the fun stuff. I do a bunch of stuff on there too, and yeah, so you should be good to go. All right, well, y'all have a good night. Take care of yourselves and each other. Go watch the Pit, and this isn't Jason. Remember, this is Nolan. So, all right, you guys have a good night, and we will talk to you guys. See you guys next week. All righty, or not next week, next time. We'll talk to you guys later. Yeah, all right. See you guys later. Bye.